So, welcome to the final two chapters of SMOD.
I feel so special. I get the courtesy of watching the final hurdle of this climactic, great, astounding adventure of this, well, Gordon Freeman going through a particular adventure where he gets to defy physics with super kicking and slow-mo jumping.
So, let's take a look at some of the weapons that I didn't get on the playthrough. I just entered Impulse 101, it's the weapons cheat. This is a physics manipulator, it does things. I don't know what those red balls do. I'm trying to figure that one out now. I never toyed with this weapon. We have a magic wand.
Is this from any Nintendo game? Because it gives me that vibe.
I don't know. Actually, I don't play many Nintendo games. We've got the Alex gun. We saw this in a part of CS Sci-Fi. I didn't really use it much there, but basically it has several different firing modes, and it's pretty powerful and accurate, actually.
I assume the others have watched it, because I haven't actually been able to keep up with SMOD for a while, even though I've been, like, the most dedicated watcher to seeing this, because it's very intriguing. It's like an experimental mod, really. And that's what, that will add on, but that's the best thing about it. It's just so, it's full of so many different things. So fascinating.
Oh,
hello.
Well, we can spawn antlions to use bug bait.
What are you doing?
I need it out of my way. Let's just put this fire out by black holing it.
You're putting out the fire you caused, and then, for no particular reason, you spawned an innocent, probably child parasite there, and you kicked it in the face.
Now, the Impulse 101 cheat doesn't actually give you all the guns in this mod. You actually have to bind a key for to give all weapons. So let's get the rest of the guns.
Yes, because clearly we don't have enough.
No, we don't have enough. Didn't you see how ugly and cluttered my inventory is? I need it more ugly and cluttered. These are soybeans. They set things on fire if they hit them. You have infinite ammo. You can supposedly find that in the first chapter, Lawley told me, but I missed it. The golden crowbar fires lasers.
Right.
We also... Okay, I'm not using it yet. This is the golden magnum. Yes. Kills anything in one hit. Dual pistols. I actually got these on a practice run, but I didn't get it on my actual recording, which is annoying. They actually, ironically, when you go in slow motion, they fire slower than just using one. We got a P90 from Counter-Strike. It zooms in, but it has no iron sight. Decently powerful, but very accurate. We got an M249 from Counter-Strike. I never used it in Counter-Strike. I'm not using it now.
Just for the demonstration, then.
The most powerful shotgun in the game. The ears sawn off. And trip mines, which are like the slams from Half-Life 2 Deathmatch. I'm trying to go for it, show these off as quickly as I can. Spike grenade, it spikes. Minigun, it miniguns.
I see. Very descriptive.
Yeah. It miniguns, man. This is also the airboat cannon.
I just want to come back to, I think it was the very first time I actually appeared in these commentaries. I had mentioned that at one point, your arsenal is going to come so full that it's going to reach the end of the screen, and it kind of has, to be honest.
It's beyond the end of the screen at this point.
Yes, you've got so many that they all fill up, probably even more.
Yeah. It can be a bit tiresome. Now, there's also a problem with this. I'd hoped that there would be enemies spawned here in the final... this is like the final segment-ish. But this area, I believe in normal Half-Life 2 as well, actually has no enemies, and because SMOD has random enemy spawns. This is the one time in the game where the random enemy spawns has actually decided, no, we're just not going to spawn any enemies.
So this is just like a silent hurdle towards the end. It feels like there's going to be like a very climactic boss fight at the end. I am watching this blind, so I'm not too familiar with the rest of this part, because sadly I never finished Half-Life 2.
Man, Judas.
Oh, sacrilege! I've not finished Half-Life 2. Oh, and the
internet. Yeah, that is sacrilege.
Yeah.
It's sacrilege as well because again, talking about practice runs like I always do. On every other thing, there were tons of enemies here. It was actually a really difficult segment because of how little cover there is. Okay, so we have two pods we can get into. Does this seem like a smart idea to get into a pod controlled by our enemies?
What could possibly go wrong?
Let's get in the right pod, because I want to go in the right direction.
So this seals him off. He can't actually, like,
He
bring his
can't
arms
move,
out.
he can't shoot, he
Just
can't
his
do
head.
anything.
Just
Yeah.
Oh.
Actually, look, I've gone into third person, there's no model when you're in this. Oh, what's this lovely device? Does this give me money onto my... Oh. Beep, 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 use a fatality. Let's get in the left one this time.
I do apologise if you can hear yelling on my side. My neighbours are very loud, and she's shouting at her dog. That poor thing.
Poor dog. Poor Gordon as well.
Oh god.
He's trapped. Ish. Even though this is probably the only time in SMOD where you are properly subdued.
This reminds me of a lot of the Alton Towers theme park rides, where it's a roller coaster, but you're sort of attached in that style against everybody else and going through a lot of tunnels. Oh god, you would never be able to put me on one of those.
Do they actually send you to your death through vaporization?
No, but they probably would be close.
Hmm.
At least in my case, because I really don't like heights or going upside down.
Now, in the original Half-Life 2, this is a really dramatic scene. Pretty much shows you just how big and powerful the Combine are and how big their citadel is. In SMOD, well, there's no real SMOD gameplay changes. I'd have liked it if, like in an early scene where a Combine accidentally blows himself up, they introduce some slapstick into this bit, but as it stands, it's pretty much vanilla Half-Life 2.
Didn't you really only get, like, a Combine explode out of the blue in the very, very first part of the game?
Yeah, it's like the most infamous scene in the game, but there's no real big comedic gameplay changes after that.
It's just like when he tells you to put the can in the trash can, he just randomly explodes, and that's just you summed it up saying this is what you're going to get in the game. And
well, I meant that from a tonal point of view, not a kind of this is going to be a recurring kind of joke kind of thing.
No, well, I mean, like it just cements the sort of randomness that you might see at least. But it seemed like that was the only dramatic defining difference.
There was also the missing airboat, but that was less comedic and more just a kind of extra objective they threw in.
God, they're handsome.
Oh yeah. If you want, basically if you want your world being taken over, you want something that looks that amazing taking over it, walking down your streets and all that.
It seems kind of inconvenient that they have just 3 giant, quite thin legs supporting those bodies. It seems really unbalanced the way I look at it. Hang on, do they not notice Gordon right now?
Well, Gordon's kind of made himself not much of a threat. Here's all the airboats I blew up. Airboats? Not airboats, fucking airships.
Yeah, I was waiting for you to finish that.
Yeah.
So, just to go back to that, have a lot of different sort of scenarios, like cutscenes or elements and all that. Like, you've got your SMOD, you can jump and slow-mo and all that, but that's kind of on your part. Has anything in the game changed a lot of times, apart from, like, weapons and that?
No, not really. I'm sad to say. This scene actually works a little bit differently. I'm kind of partially glad that you're coming into this blind now, because that means you probably haven't heard about the most amazing thing that happens in, well, normal Half-Life 2 on the gameplay side.
Well, then I guess not, so hopefully I'm in for a lot.
This is kind of like a Combine weapon strip search kind of dealy. This little portal shed here, I don't know what the technical term for it is, but basically in the original Half-Life 2, these machines do something very special which in SMOD might become a little bit cumbersome.
Yes.
They confiscate all your weapons and one by one vaporize them. In normal Half-Life 2, that's, takes a decent amount of time, but I'm kind of overstocked on weapons in this game.
I love this overcluster of weapons just flying around. It's like, oh, I remember all of these. Those were the
memories.
Days. It is.
Oh yeah.
It's flashing before your eyes.
Also, one weapon I forgot to show off entirely was the banana bombs from Worms. They're kind
Really?
beautiful in this mod.
Oh, your scissors. Now you can't be like the postal dude. And you had a shovel as
It
well.
destroyed my shovel too.
Going away one by one, what else can we expect without spoiling too much?
Well, what do you imagine would happen if they fired it at one of our most unique creations? Say, a gravity gun.
They're going to use it against you?
No, I'm going to use it against them. Say hello to the super gravity gun. And also, let's do a little callback to a part I did with TDF ages ago. Gordon from the Combine's perspective. Now, the super gravity gun kills enemies outright. You just shunt them with it and they vaporize. Now let's see how Gordon looks in slow motion, but sped up.
Okay.
I didn't edit this. This is the source recorder's way of dealing with slow motion.
He doesn't seem to have... I think this has been relevant before. He doesn't really seem to have a proper jumping animation, so he just sort of
No, he doesn't. He just kind of lifts his legs up.
Catastrophic mayhem throughout this base. Die.
You can have your grenade back, good sir. Fare thee well. I don't even need to take the lift, I'm just gone.
It's like an acid trip going on here. God. You didn't see a lot of this, though, when it was from your perspective.
No, I recorded this all in my perspective and then used Source Film Recorder to show off the third person.
God.
This would have been impossible to play.
I love how hunched over he is. It seems like he is so worn down and tired. Although that make a lot of sense.
Heavy. Not to mention he's a scientist. He spent a lot of time hunched over vials and paperwork, and even though he's a physicist, he worked with vials.
That combine just flying up.
You wouldn't see it because it was in the slow motion as well, but I actually dived up into the ceiling and ate all of his jibs before he landed.
Oh, that was spectacular. Everything about this has been spectacular. So are you going to sum up your thoughts about this whole, while we're going throughout all this? Like, your experiences, maybe best bits about the whole thing?
The airboat chapter, I love some of the additions they made there, like the APC. Some chapters as well, like Nova Prospect, are incredibly fun shootouts. The countryside chapters are fucking ridiculously tough, and the finale heading through City 17. Basically, this bit here is revenge for all the difficult firefights. Because I've also turned on, you know, infinite suit power, that's why I'm in slow motion constantly.
Right. Wait, hang on, you're going throughout this whole thing in slow motion?
Yeah,
wow.
Source Recorder sped it up. This actually took about 10 minutes of me playing it, sped up to 2 minutes because of, like, in real time, that's how fast Gordon was moving.
That must have been pretty long from your perspective, though.
Yeah, and not to mention I recorded this over 3 times because I didn't like the way it went the first 2 times.
Not enough death. More
Not
carnage.
enough death.
Jesus.
My original idea as well was to go through SMOD like this near enough entirely, but then I decided to make it a special kind of finale thing.
It seemed...
Not to mention some chapters glitch the fuck out when you try this.
It also comes from me looking at this, because I'm not playing it, so probably I wouldn't be able to know how fun it is at all, but it feels like a lot of the time, because you have almost an infinite amount of access to this slow-mo, it almost seems like, to some extent, it will lose its novelty.
It would. I tried to avoid it in some, like, chapters because I felt I was relying on it too much and that wouldn't look, you know, challenging or interesting, but this game is challenging. Slow motion... I mean, I'm not that great at the game, so for me, slow motion is a necessity. I'm pretty sure someone of very good skill could get through without it, but the amount of combines they add is, ridiculous. Also, another change in this part of the game is they actually do give you a minigun to add to your super gravity gun. I just decided to save it for this little lift segment.
Wait, so you just got this right now? Wow.
No, I got it at the beginning of this part, but I haven't been using it.
Oh.
You've got to hold back on the minigun, save it for when it's right.
Now this dreaded lift.
That's the serious Sam rule of minigun design. just give you the minigun right when you need it.
Yes. Oh, crap, what was I going to say? Oh, I'll remember it later. So how far are we gotta go till we get to the big climactic end?
It's near enough at the top of this lift. Actually, as well, I did play this segment, you know, when I wasn't recording, I practiced this segment, playing it normally. I'll say this much, they do give you a difficult send-off. It stays true to SMOD. And that's also a Combine who walked into the vaporizing power generator there.
Oh, so this isn't like normal difficulty for previous, like regular Half-Life. This is like increased because it's SMOD.
Yeah.
Oh, okay, that's convenient.
There are not this many Combines in the vanilla Half-Life 2 here. They've jumped it up quite a bit. So, yep. That's the little gimmick in these parts. I mean, we saw it before, so let me just turn on the infinite power again, because I had that a moment ago.
And now to repeat everything.
Now to kill everyone over again. Also, throughout this segment, you do have very well done messages from Breen, basically, well, questioning your motives. But we didn't hear any of them, because we were going through here at super speed. We don't hear that one either, because Gordon just doesn't have time for this shit.
Does he become sped up? Wait, no. Oh wait,
sorry. He becomes slowed down.
Yeah, slowed down because I remembered you were going slow. I thought when you said sped up, I was thinking, wait, were you going like as if you would be able to play at such high intense speeds? I think that's what TDF said at one point as well.
Fuck it, Gordon's going in super speed. I better deliver this speech quick so he'll hear it.
Oh, God.
There's also another thing in this segment that's interesting. It's that when you kill Combines in this segment, their guns vaporize. So you shouldn't actually be able to get an SMG here, but because I was traveling at super speed, I managed to pick it up before it started vaporizing.
What? Wow.
So basically, I kind of went too fast for the game itself to keep up.
I like the idea that the Combine came around, he had his SMG before, and even before he saw Gordon Freeman, as he turned around the corner, it wasn't in his hand, and suddenly just Gordon had it. He is that fast, but he decided not to kill him yet because it would have been better for his surprise.
He's quick on the draw, you know. You gotta be in this kind of universe, and this is kind of the final big gunfight room.
Oh, God. See, they should have listened to their other Combine friends back in, oh god.
Nova Prospect.
Yeah,
just
exactly. They left as soon as, like, they came around the corner a few seconds, and as soon as it all started firing, they fucked off. It was amazing. It was as if they were just saying, you know what, no, fuck this, we're out.
We're done.
I could reform my life. I could go back to my family, see if I could get myself another decent job. You know, I don't need this.
Just let the rebels have it. They clearly want it more.
Not the rebels, just Gordon. They're not even doing anything. He's just a one-man army right now. They're all standing there wondering, why isn't this working? How is he alive?
How fast can he be?
Oh,
and
yes.
That's why the minigun is fun.
Oh god, I thought that was like the skeleton of one of them. I thought you fired off all
I
his
eviscerated
skin.
him.
Yes, it was just a walking skeleton, Jesus.
Just rip everything apart, just his skeleton, and I was like, oh, okay, Gordon, I'll go. You can have it.
You still want more blood, okay.
Yeah. And now this is the final wave, complete with a Strider.
This is a villain protagonist story. This is just Gordon going on a mass murdering spree. These guys aren't even evil.
You guys don't even know it, but the way I've been playing Gordon, I wasn't even listening to the exposition. I just want to murder things that are in front of me.
I mean, Jesus Christ.
And the Strider here is really difficult because I have no explosives. You have to kill him basically by pelting him with these pulse energy balls. But you can also just ignore him if you choose to. All you got to do to basically pass this segment is to dive down to the left there, but it's blocked off by an energy barricade, which I'm currently disabling through my masterful hacking abilities.
Yes. Feels like those legs, as I said before, they look so faint, it's as if you could just trip it, and it would be over.
I wish in SMOD I could just kick his leg out from under him.
Oh! Wait, have you tried that?
I've tried it, it doesn't do
Oh.
anything. Sadly, kicking isn't as almighty as it should be.
The one point where you think kicking something that thin would actually come in very useful and would be necessary didn't work.
So, because getting in a pod was such a great idea last time, I think, oh, last time I got in one of these, I got a super gravity gun and infinite slow motion. What can I get this time?
Is it cake?
Cake or death?
It's
Oh,
always
that's
one of the... Oh.
That's a stalker, by the way.
Oh.
They're kind of horrifying.
No, it's one of Gordon Freeman's victims.
Oh, okay.
I just assume that this is all within like a psychological journey where Gordon realizes that this is all because of him. This is his base, and he's fighting his men, and he hasn't realized it. This is a different.
How he sorts out the strong from the weak.
This is a different Gordon Freeman story.
This is basically Half-Life 2 before Half-Life 2 happened.
Yes.
The actual Gordon is yet to turn up. And that's why in the real Half-Life 2 there aren't as many soldiers, because Gordon has killed most... Well, this Gordon has killed most of them.
It's like a Metal Gear story! This
No,
is
it
the...
isn't.
Oh, okay. This is Big Boss, and the other one is the new Gordon. I'm not too familiar with Metal Gear, the lore, so I'm probably getting this all wrong, but oh well.
Now, what was coming up here is if you look out the window you can see a skyline. I think that's actually a picture of the... I think that's Chicago skyline? I don't remember, I read it a long time ago. Basically that's an actual city's kind of cityscape shot, basically. Looks quite pretty. And also, it's kind of the orange kind of sunlight there. That orange colour is quite heavy in episode 1.